Hi all. If some of you would remember, a couple of weeks back on a Friday night at church, I gave a testimony about how God is working miracles in our finances. And if you haven't heard that testimony, I'll put a link below so you can go back to the YouTube video on the Friday night when I shared the testimony. And even more important is to listen to Pastor Jessica's sermon on that night, which is excessively powerful. So I'd encourage you to take the time to do that. But I want to add to that financial testimony, because you see, when God does something, He always does it exceedingly and abundantly above whatever we could ask for or imagine. And I want you to be able to encapsulate that. So if you see behind me here, I've got some very large fields. Let me just swap. So this is my entire front field. And then if you look way past my garage, okay, that's my backfield. And amazing thing is now I normally am mowing that field with this tractor, okay? So I spend a lot of time in these fields. Normally 3 Saturdays in the spring, 3 Saturdays in the fall. So figure that's anywhere between 10 to 12 hours for each of those days and going through and doing it. So that's a lot of time, a lot of fuel. It's great though, because it's a lot of time that I listen to preaching. But here is where God has done something absolutely exceedingly and abundantly above what I could ever ask for or imagine. There's just me doing most of this work on the property. And one of my neighbors down the way, who happens to be a beef farmer, well, he actually approached me at the end of March. I was out here plowing some snow a little bit. And when he approached me, he's like, hey, I'd like to harvest your fields for you. He says, I want to buy your hay. Do you understand? He is going to mow the fields for me. So I didn't say anything at first, like when I gave the initial testimony a couple of weeks back, just because of the fact that I hadn't finished the deal yet with my neighbor. So as of last Saturday, I gave him the key to the gate so he's able to get in, so that he's going to be able to have access to my fields. He is going to fertilize them. He is going to seed them. He is going to do soil samples in order to make sure that I have the highest quality of hay possible to feed his herd of 100 beef just down the way. I think I took a picture and I'll be able to post that there for you, just to be able to help you understand. So he's going to do all of that. Plus, he's going to mow my field in the spring, and he's going to mow my field in the fall. And that's about normally what I would do. I would mow it once in the spring and once in the fall. But the best part is, on top of that, he's going to pay me $8 a bale of hay. Now, I want you to understand, when God is going to bless you for obedience, first, it requires you to be obedient to Him. Second, it actually requires you to be faithful. And what you commit to do to actually doing it, part of obedience. But you also need to walk in faith and trust God that He will do what He says He will do. And the amazing thing is God's blowing my mind. Like, He has truly done exceedingly and abundantly above all that I could ever ask or imagine. So these massive fields that you see behind me, which would normally be 6 Saturdays for me to do it, rain or shine, sometimes I would be on the tractor, sometimes even in the snow if I was a little too late trying to mow the fields to get them down. And now God has given me someone who will do that work for me. Now my time's going to be freed up to do other things. The amazing thing is that God sent that person to do this for me. That neighbor's been there for decades. I've known them for decades. They've known me for decades. But God sent them at the appointed time because I was obedient, and He has chosen to bless me financially. So hopefully that encourages you and fills you with faith. step out and do what God has told you to do. And he will be more than ecstatic to show you how faithful he is and how he can be trusted when you are obedient to him. Have an amazing day and rejoice. These are just part of the testimonies that are coming in. And I know that they're going to keep growing and growing and growing because, hey, we're just at the end of April. And 2023 is already going to be the best year ever. So buckle up and hold on because the blessings will flow. Have a great one.